Hello, and we're live again. And I'm so excited. I have my wonderful friend back, Royce Blake. He is amazing. You got to listen to this show, even if it's on the replay. It's all about how we can become great at podcasting, great at interviewing, great at standing out, great at branding. It's everything. Because, like you just said to me, Royce, it's all marketing at the end of the day, isn't it? I'm Christine Bell.
Absolutely.
I'm Christine Bell. This is all about learning and growing together in business. And I'm super excited to have you back. How are you going?
Let me check. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm delightful, as a matter of fact. Yes. And
And
yeah, we are. We're going to have a fun time because speaking of podcasting, and you know me, feel free to interrupt because I'll just talk. Because I was on the radio for a long time and used to get paid a lot of money to talk, and which is still kind of strange if you think about it. But I wanted to. As you know, I should probably explain. I was on the radio, but uh, after my morning show, I realized I had a whole day left, basically, and that's how I got into marketing. That was well over 20 years ago, being a copywriter at first. And I was having a hard time, even in the last few years, explaining, even though I had to be creative on the air every day, how that, boosted my skills as a copywriter. People just didn't make the connection there. So, in the last couple of years, I've kind of pivoted a little bit to help podcasters and event hosts and speakers get better at both interviewing skills and using their voice. And I don't know if you've ever felt this, but I hear this a lot, Christine, is people get a little anxious before they have to appear on a podcast or host a podcast. They don't like the sound of their voice. They don't like being on camera. Have you ever felt that way?
oh yes, I felt that way. And guess what? Doing live snappy chats, I get it all the time. And I just want to say, even though it's a holiday in America, which I didn't know, we got Michael here from New York. Great to see you. Michael's going to be on in the early November. He's amazing. So thank you for being here. So we do have one guest, yay, even though it's holidays.
Excellent. Absolutely. Oh, they'll be flocking in, trust me. Or if you're catching this on replay, heads up to you. Well, I want to do something I've discovered, and I've done a lot of research on this about getting over that mic fright and all those clammy hands and that churning stomach. Is
Yeah.
really, most of us have this right in our hands, and that's our phones. We live in a time where you can get over yourself, and that's my pretty much my signature course that I'm building right now, and it's called Getting Used to You. Because once you see yourself over and over again, pretty soon you're going to get used to yourself and you'll no longer be as anxious. Sometimes you still get butterflies, but that's good. That means you're in for something and you're still excited. So, getting used to you involves basically three steps, right? I want you to record yourself. Now, you can delete it, no one else has to see it, but
So true.
record yourself for 5 minutes, you just talking. Now, 5 minutes may not seem like a lot until you try it. Trust me, 5 minutes is a long time. You're probably going to run out of things to say. What I like to, obviously you can start with your sales pitch, which hopefully won't last 5 minutes, right? It should be like an elevator pitch. After that, it could be your shopping list. One of my favorites is things you love, right? Talk about your hobby, how you got into it, how much you love it, why it's the greatest, or things you hate. Doesn't matter. Why someone's your friend. Talk about their finest qualities, whatever. You just want to keep talking. You're going to run out of things to say. And that's when the real gold comes out, because that's when the ums, the ahs, the you likes, and yeah, you know what I mean. Those kinds of things start coming out. But here's the secret: after you record it, don't watch it right away. Because if you watch something or listen to something right after you recorded it, you're going to hate it, right? Here comes, I'm fat, I'm ugly, my my voice sounds like a screeching owl. Whatever it is, you're going to hate it right away. Think about it. We all feel different in the morning, right? After you have a good night's sleep, don't you wake up and have a totally different perspective on whatever was freaking you out the night before. Same deal here. Give it 24 hours. And then when you watch it back, and trust me, this works. It's been proven, not just by me, by many, many people. Watch it back with the volume up and the phone face down. Don't look at it. Just listen to it. You're listening for it's called an auditory review. And that's when you start to pick up things, those ums, those ahs. We call them in the radio world crutches. In other words, little phrases you say that you don't even realize you're saying, but you do it all the time. A lot of people end sentences with okay, or right, or you got that. So, those are the things that will stick out. So number one, just listen to it. Listen to it intently. And once again, it's going to hurt the first few times. So it's not going to be comfortable, but you're going to start to pick up, and soon, and I'll hit on this a little bit more in a minute, but you're going to be able to edit those things before they ever leave your lips. And that's what we're shooting for, because once your brain is aware of those things, then you'll be able to cut them out. You're always going to feel different after you listen to it.
I have one that I picked up that I do all the time. I end with that. Yeah. Get it? Yes. I always end up with the question, right. You just did it. Right. Yeah.
Right.
By the way, we were talking about before and whether people show up. So I just want to welcome Leanne, Michael, Justin, Christy from Florida. Randy's here too. Wonderful to see you all. So just because it's holidays doesn't mean you don't attract, Royce, because you do have the voice of a radio host and you do know how to entertain, which I love. And you're so right. We all get scared when it comes to putting ourselves on stage, right? Whether it's
that's because we're human.
I just did the right.
Yeah, it's because we're human. Okay,
and
so we've listened to it, right? And so next, you want to take that same recording. Once again, you can delete it. No one else has to see it. You can do this on your own. It's your own private coaching session. Next, you're going to watch the video with the sound off. So now you're just looking at yourself. Now, this is when you find out, okay, do I stand there like a statue the whole time? Do I sway? Am I always touching my glasses if I had any? Little things that you probably never noticed before. Anything that takes away from your message is something you may want to work on. And then after that, then watch it normally. Now, I can guarantee you, after about 5 times doing this, you're going to be amazed. After a month, you'll be totally blown away. You'll be a totally different presenter when it comes to that. So, that I think is something right in our hands and gets results, like I said, after 5 or 10 times. So the secret to getting rid of those butterflies and also getting better at presentation skills, whether you're a podcaster, host events, do sales presentations, it doesn't matter. Anytime you're talking to an audience, you can get better by just getting used to you. And once you see yourself, think about, I used to go through air check sessions on the radio all the time where your boss would sit down and listen back to your show with you sitting there. And then you just dread the time you reached over and just stopped the tape. That means he's going to yell at me about something. So, but you're hearing yourself over and over again. Pretty soon you didn't even realize you had these crutches, or, occasionally. I love that. Heavy on the occasionally, Christine,
Well, I totally get what you're saying. I had to go on LinkedIn a couple of years ago. People said, you got to start putting yourself out there. You got to do videos. And I'm like, oh, no.
Yes.
It's scary because I had a thing around my accent. I wanted to sound, perfect English. And then my husband is like, well, that's your superpower. You got an accent.
What accent?
Own it.
So
own it. Yeah. So we got to own ourselves. We got to be okay with who we are. And it comes back to self-love to some extent too, right?
Yeah. And we're kind of lucky in a way, because in this new era of AI, I think, because AI is getting really good at especially videos now and voices, but we're
Mm,
kind of swinging back to where I think people are going to appreciate real. They're going to know
yeah.
we're live right now, and they're going to know that we're real people. And you know, I don't know about you, but I really doubt anybody would want me as some kind of, in other words, they wouldn't invent me, Christine. You know, they'd be much younger and much better looking. So so I want to
Well,
talk for a second about
everyone has their own unique superpowers and everyone has a reason here to be here. So I think it's also about
absolutely.
really accepting who we are. And part of
And
that,
yeah,
I just want to say hello
and
to Robert Schreiber. He's a great friend of mine. He does massive advertisings and being the producer, etc. Great with the camera and everything, making sure that you sound perfect and personal. Um,
awesome.
I really think when it comes to podcasting that everyone wants to be a podcaster these days, right?
Yep.
Everyone wants to be seen and heard, even if we're scared of it. And it is really, really important that we can show up authentically. But there's so much competition out there too. And
Oh
there's
yeah.
so many podcasting options out there, and we only have so much time. And we're talking about this just beforehand, and yet you have certain people like Joe Rogan's obviously been around for a long time, but there's certain people who just seem to have that extra thing, what it takes. Like you were on the radio, you wouldn't have survived if you didn't have something extra. What is that extra thing that we can
Well,
all find our extra thing? We just need to work out what it is first, I think.
here's a concept I love, and I think everyone should try to remember. We've gone from social media to social interest. So people are now, you know, flocking towards it's an old marketing slogan, what's in it for me, right? I'm sure you've heard that. And that's how
Yeah.
you write, that's how you advertise. You want to reach the people that go, hey, that's in it for me. And it's the same with social interest versus social media, because people are going to go towards their interests because there's so many choices out there. We have choices everywhere. So why not go to that? And people are so freaked out. Don't worry about likes, downloads, listeners, things like that. Find the smallest viable tribe you can and serve them. You make raving fans, they're going to spread the word for you no matter what. I mean, I've seen people actually monetize podcasts with balloon artistry. They make balloons, they blow up balloons and make them into crazy things, and you know, she's doing great. So anything you can possibly imagine, they've got it for you. So I mean, that
Wow.
don't be freaked out that you're going to, because guess what, right when you get it all dialed in, the algorithms are going to change again anyway.
I know. It's happened to me several times on LinkedIn. At this point, I'm like, well, I'm just gonna put myself out there when I have time, do what I want to do on there, and not give so much care about whether anyone else is gonna like it. As long as I know that I show up as me authentically, then
Right.
hopefully they'll attract the right people. And whether that's one person or 10 people or 2,000, who knows? I
Oh,
just
you
don't
bet.
know, but I can't work that way if I'm worried about that. So I think that comes back to the point you made before, is that it's about you. Don't worry about everyone else. Just get good at you.
Odds are, if you like something, there are hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands of others that like it too. And so don't ever be afraid to go too niche. You know, it's being you, especially it's something you love, you know.
Yeah.
You know, the other question I get a lot is when you have all these ums and ahs and you know what I mean? Those filler words, how do you get rid of them? And this is something I learned that once again is against human nature. And the secret is the pause. We are afraid to pause. Now, I just did right there. Did that sound freaky
Truth.
to you? No, right? You can pause to even the count of three, like I just did right there. Did that sound weird to you? I hope not. But in our
No,
brains, we're freaking. We're like, oh man, I have to fill this silence. I have to say something, and that something is usually or or like and that takes away from your message. So get used to pausing. And once again, if you're listening back to yourself over and over again, you'll realize, hey, I could have put a pause in there and my message would have been much more powerful. So, don't ever be afraid of the pause.
such a good point. And most of us are often afraid of it. And yet, we also know that if we want other people to absorb our message, they need time to absorb it. So if we're just going at 20,000 kilometers an hour and without any pauses, they're not going to take on board what we're saying. They're literally just being bombarded with words
Right.
rather than hearing the message.
You bet. And if you do pause, it puts more importance on the next thing you say. See what I did right there? So, don't be afraid to pause. And so
Yeah.
many people, once again, it's human nature. People forget that your voice, man, sorry. Sorry to interrupt, Christine. I have a cat.
That's okay. I'm going to say hello to Randy here. Randy's
Okay,
here. We
good.
got Kim here as well. We got Christy. And I will say this, we were talking about it being a holiday in America and whether anyone would have time to watch us. We got the best people right here, right now, listening in. You can look at the comments up at the right. If you go to comments up there, you'll see them all.
Awesome.
Royce
Great
said.
to see you guys. Thank you so
So
much.
here we go. So sometimes just showing up is all you need to do, and that's the first step.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And people forget. We've always heard, right? You use your voice, use your voice, right? And we almost treat our voice as a tool. And you use a hammer, right? You use a drill. Do you use a guitar? Do you use a piano? No, you play them, right? So that's the whole thing. Play your voice. That's the secret. And it's an instrument. And people are so afraid of playing around with their pacing, how fast you're going, how slow you're going, your intonation. And can you slow things down? Can you speed them up? The tone, is it very serious? 6 people were drowned in a vat of cotton candy today. Or is it like, I can't believe they won, that was crazy? So it matter. In fact, I brought some excellent reading material. This is a medical pamphlet. So here is like how to find a doctor or pharmacy. Okay. So I could say, how do I find a doctor or pharmacy? Or I could say, how do I find a doctor or pharmacy? Or how do I find a doctor or pharmacy? That's intonation. And that's, it's the same with, how do I find what drugs are covered? How do I find what drugs are covered? How do I find what drugs are covered? So just changing your intonation a little bit can make a huge difference in your message.
So important. And I just want to say hello to Jackie Holberg as well. And Moosey's here as well. He says he's learning so much from our Snappy Chat session, which is great because we want to add value and you're adding so much value here, Royce. So I appreciate all your learnings because I think there are a lot of us who wants to use our voice more, who wants to be feeling confident when we show up, whether that's on stage, whether it's a small group of people and networking, whether it's online here or to a lot of people, it still becomes around showing up at our best.
Yes,
And
and
feeling
it
confident.
is actually easy to play with. One of my favorite things to do is with a grocery list. So instead of saying, I need peanut butter, I'll do it like a game show. And now here comes peanut butter. And you can whatever you want. Oh, celery for the win. whatever. And you can get used to playing with your voice. You can do it in front of people or not, really depends on your
Yeah.
household. But, yes, you make it fun, but get used to going up and down. There's and fast or slow, because the last thing you want to hear right when you sit down at a presentation is, "Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Bob, and today we'll go over the exciting world of taxidermy." You're in for a long session at that point, right? So have fun, get people excited. I would
And you
say,
can't,
I always like to say, "Hey, folks, relax. I've screwed up way bigger things than this." So, that kind of puts them at ease at
yeah.
that point.
But there is an entertainer that you found in yourself. And I wonder how important it is to find our inner entertainer. And what made your radio show so popular? Was it obviously your ability to engage with your voice, but is this also the topic? So I have a couple of questions there in there to unpack.
Yeah, once again, it gets back to getting used to you. You'll be able to tell just by yourself. No one else has to see it, where you realize, wow, that sucked. Sorry, that didn't go over too well. I was lucky enough to work in so many different places and different formats where I had bosses that would tell me I sucked. So, that was, or the ratings on occasion. But, it's different for everyone, but you'll be able to find. And by the way, don't you steal from the best. That's another one of my favorite mottos. Find people you like. Find people you like to listen to, you like to watch, you like their podcast, you like their TV show. If you want to be like them, steal some of the things that they do well, things that you can do if you just work on it a little bit. If
Yeah.
this guy always goes up at the end of a sentence, then start doing that if that works for you. If it's a somber, more business-like tone, then stick with that. Whatever works for you and what you're trying to get across, because the most important thing remains the message. So whatever you're trying to, evoke, that's what you want to communicate.
You know what? It's such a good recommendation. And I must admit, learn from the best. I may not always agree with Joe Rogan as his guest, but when I do listen to him, which is not all the time, because I don't have that much time either.
Right.
But what I do love is his way, which is what I'm mimicking a little bit, was his way of putting guests on and then just having an open-ended conversation.
Right.
Like he doesn't feel like he's rehearsed
Yeah.
too much. It more feels like very spontaneous. And he's also
Right.
he's a critical thinker. And he
Yeah,
adds his own
and
questions
Joe
in
is
there.
not a polished broadcaster, right? He's not a polished broadcaster. He's real. He's real. And that's the awesome thing about podcasting, especially. You're kind of overhearing a conversation. And, hopefully between two very intriguing or interesting people, or five or whatever. But you know what I'm saying? It's not
Yeah.
Joe's presentation. He's real. He's just like you and I.
Yeah. And you can tell he's listening to the person. He's not just got a lot of questions on his list. He's much more engaged
Absolutely.
in terms of no list. I'm just going to listen to you right now. And then I'm going to ask questions as they come up.
Right. It's one of the most underrated skills in the world. I cover this in my free 5-day email course to podcast excellence. It's listening. I don't know how many podcasters I've run into where the guest has said some gold, something amazing. And the host is so worried about getting to question 7 that he missed it entirely. It drives me crazy. I'm like, do you realize what he just said? It's amazing. And that's and once again, that gets back to one of the biggest things you can do, especially if you're hosting a podcast or a guest on an event, is do your
Like,
research.
yeah.
Find a question they've never been asked. That was always my goal. I wanted to end any interview with at least 3 or 4 pages of questions I didn't get to. So, that's something. Take the time and do the research.
So maybe I, right now, as we're coming to the end, should ask the questions which I don't know if you've ever been asked.
Good luck
When
with
you were a
that,
kid,
Christine.
yeah, when you were a kid, I know I'm like, what do we grapple for now? So on the spot, when you were a kid, what did you dream of being when you were old? I'm assuming you didn't put radio host on there. Well, maybe you did.
No, actually, what's funny is, yeah, I always dreamed of becoming a police officer. That was my goal. I didn't make it, got sucked into radio, but my son has. He's a police officer now and doing very, very well. But my mom actually has old Super 8 movies of me at, I think, age 4, interviewing her in the garden with the handle of a jump rope. So I was interviewing my mom at age 4. So I don't know if that has something to do with it or not, but one of the best things that ever happened to me is my dad forced, because I was pretty much an introvert throughout school, believe it or not. And he made me take speech when I was a freshman in high school. When all the cool guys were going into wrestling, Royce got speech. I'm like, oh man, with the nerds, best thing that ever happened to me, because obviously you had to get in front of people and, get over those fears. So, but
Yeah.
once again, repetition is the mother of skill. It's going to take a little while. The secret is just keep doing it over and over. And with your phone, you can do it alone. No one else has to see it. You can get better. And all of a sudden people are like, wow, I didn't know you spoke so well. Yeah. And
That's
then you
exactly
send me a
right.
check.
I had someone else, an actress in Australia, reach out to me on LinkedIn when I first started out and said, stop reading out your messages and learn impromptu. You got to learn to be improvise.
Right.
And she said, get that phone out and start filming yourself improvising. You don't have to put it up, but you got to start improvising. And she said, if you
Absolutely.
have to redo a message more than twice, don't do it. Come back to it another day when you've forgotten it, because now it starts becoming rehearsed.
Absolutely. It's just, what people, especially in the days of AI, people are craving real more than ever. If you screw up, you screw up. They know we're real,
And that's what I'm all about. Everyone is on the AI. And I must admit, I have been against AI, not used it until this weekend. I was doing some research for a big client. And I suddenly realized there was an app with an AI that could record it all, transcribe it all. So I didn't have to take notes anymore. And it could even do a summary. I'm like,
It's
wow.
amazing.
Not that it
Yes.
takes over my thinking, but that was very cool.
Yes.
But besides that, I'm like, AI is mainstream now. It's not a trend anymore. It's mainstream. So if you want to stand out, we're all going to crave more human connection. The more you put robots in and AI, the more we're going to start craving human connection, because we are human beings first and foremost. We are never going to be robots unless we all start putting in lots of electronics into our body, which is coming if you want it.
Yes.
That's another story.
We're becoming more valuable for the times,
Exactly.
We'll see.
So embrace your humanness. Embrace your imperfection, because AI is going to strive to be perfect. So imperfection is gold too.
Absolutely.
Anyway, we're up for time. This was fantastic as always. We had a great audience. So thank you everyone for showing up on your holiday in America. I appreciate that. And in Australia, Tuesday morning, we appreciate it too. Not a holiday here. But it's so wonderful to have you on again, Royce. I'm sure I'll have you on again soon if you want to.
Absolutely.
And you can give me advice on how to turn Snappy Chat into a podcast, because that's what I'm playing with, but I don't know how to go about it. And what would make it exciting enough.
Not a problem. It's always a pleasure being with you, Christine. I love it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate all your kind words, and thank you for everyone here. I appreciate you all, and have a wonderful rest of day or night.
Thanks.